Welcome to another Twist podcast. Rick, how are you?
Good morning, and good morning, everybody. Blowing everybody a kiss on this special morning.
Oh, that's so nice. I felt it.
Did you
It was
really?
like a little breeze went by. Many miles away as I'm in New Jersey once again.
I know, although the opening to our podcast says you're in New York, so you're fooling people today.
No, because I tell them where I am. I'm
Hmm.
transparent. We're all about transparency here. We don't conceal things. We don't deceive.
Transgender?
No, transparency.
I
That's a
know. That
great
was
series. Have you seen it?
Oh my God, yes, and it's coming out in series 2. You know, we talked about it on the show before, or
We did. I
some
love your
show.
glasses too.
Hey, thanks. You like my shirt?
I do, and I'm wearing a flag shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to have it out here. I didn't put it on for Paris, which we'll get to, which is a very serious subject.
Or Veterans Day week.
Yeah, I just want to share something I thought was like supremely, unbelievably tacky, and then we'll get
Mm,
into the show.
yeah.
I'm on a gay mystery Facebook group because I write gay mysteries.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of self promotion that goes on. Everybody does it. But there was this chick who writes gay mysteries, and she put up, let's focus on love today, right? Because of the attacks. And then she immediately pitches her gay mystery romance. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
That's twisted.
Like, who? Anyways, I just had to share that because I couldn't say anything on the group because I don't want to alienate anybody. But that's pretty fucked up.
But it is, and as you know, on our podcast, you can say anything and everything, and certainly it's in the minds of people today. But let's get on with the show. You're right, and let's share some love
We're going
and
to.
and some
Um,
sadness. It's a sad day in the world
yeah, it's
today.
a very somber day in the world as everyone reels from what happened in Paris. It's hard to do a show that relies in some part on humor, I hope, when there's not much supply right now. And I mean, it's just very grave and serious, but we will continue. We'll be talking today about Paris, obviously, but also about the preservation of gay culture. I thought it was the rightward march of the United States. It was your topic, but it's actually about doing the right thing.
The really right thing.
Yes,
Yes.
in Dallas and Utah with their governor and all of that. We're going to also be talking about celebrity outings and prison rape, but not in the same sentence. I want to say we're slowly picking up views on our YouTube channel, the Twist Podcast. All you got to do is go to YouTube and type in the Twist Podcast. You can also watch the videos at our website, thetwistpodcast.com. But subscribe, folks, whether it's especially on YouTube, but YouTube, iTunes. We can use the numbers. We have a great time. We're going to keep doing it anyways, but we'd love to get some more subscribers. Thanks again to the email subscribers. Got a bunch of those. You can do that at the website. At the website too. Now, I want to give a shout out to our November partners, but first, the Pride trilogy is available for pre-order. Yeah, I have to plug my stuff here.
We said we're going to talk a little bit about love. You've got some great twisted romance in your books, by the way, Mark.
Oh, thank you. But no, I've written 5 Kyle Callahan mysteries, and 3 of them are a trilogy called the Pride trilogy. There's Murder at Pride Lodge, Pride and Perilous, Death by Pride. They're fabulous books. Everybody loves them. I just put them out as a single book. It's the Pride trilogy. You can get it pre-order now on the Kindle for $6.99. It's going to be in paperback too. But anyway, so go on to Amazon and just type in the Pride trilogy or my name or Kyle Callahan Mysteries. You'll find it. Also shouting out to Krieger Cole Communications, our New York-based media company.
I'm waiting.
Hi, Cindy and
Hi,
Rainey.
guys.
Public speaking coaching and media relations expertise. Contact Cindy Krieger or Rainey Cole. KriegerCole.com, and also Amy Mays Photography. Amy is a documentary, portrait, and event photographer and a fabulous LGBTQ ally activist. She's at Amy Mays, MAYES Photography.com. So are we ready for the red lines?
Yes, the show always begins with 5 choice red lines. Lots going on. I'm sure one will be Paris. Hit it, Mark.
The weekly red lines promoting better news digestion. A judge lets baby stay with 2 moms. A Utah judge who initially decided to take a baby away from her same-sex foster parents and place her in a home with heterosexual parents has changed his mind after widespread criticism and the fact that it was probably illegal against the laws in Utah. Another item, the U.S. government has confirmed that famed decapitator, failed rapper, and Freddy Krueger wannabe, Jihadi John, has been killed by a drone strike. Go directly to hell, do not pass go. Bernardo Garcia Texiera, if I'm saying that right, flung himself off a cruise ship balcony. Did you read about that? After he and his husband were allegedly called lipsticks by the staff. It's truly strange and sad story. It's not funny. It's really sad. But I've never heard a gay man called a lipstick. Do you think that's like a translation thing
I no, I bet that. Yes, I bet you're right. I bet you're right.
or a cultural thing? Like wherever they
It's
come from, maybe
cultural.
they call
Yeah.
gay people lipsticks. Like
Right.
like what's the Spanish word? Pendejo,
No.
not pendejo. Maricon. Okay. Anyways, that happened, and then the federal health officials stated Thursday that despite all efforts, including Michelle Obama's best, obesity rates in the U.S. have risen sharply to 38%. 38% of us are now buying Relax Fit jeans. This is up from 35% in
Jeez.
2012.
Wow.
Finally, Paris, Rick. I didn't know anything about it until I was on the way. Actually, I was waiting for Frank to get home from work so we could drive out here, and I went online on my phone and I saw what was going on in Paris, and I don't even know where to begin, except that it's just really horrible, and I don't know. Like I'm lost for words. It's all over the news. Everybody's covering it now, so I don't really have any thoughts except to wait and see. And my first reaction was they need to be incinerated. Somebody at some point has got to stop treating. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but it's just going to keep going on unless there's some sort of annihilate these people effort that's made. What do you think?
Oh no, I definitely think it's true. I mean, this morning you wake up to the news and you don't want to really see what played out overnight, but ISIS is claiming it, claiming victory, if you will. The attackers all dead. I think 7 of the 9 or whatever were actually suicide deaths. So they're claiming victory over that part of it as well. It's definitely a world war, if you will. ISIS has been a world war for some time, and it certainly shows that wars can break out related to this in Afghanistan or Syria or Paris, the streets of Paris, or beautiful New York City. It's just, it's horrendous. I will say one thing for my love or hate of Facebook. Didn't really read a lot what people are posting about it, but I will say this: the new feature on Facebook I love is the safe feature.
Yeah,
Have
I've
you
heard
seen
that.
the?
What is it?
It's awesome. As you know, you'll recall Robert Bradford. He was in the play that I directed, Ben Blimpie, with your now deceased partner was in it. But Robert and Mary Dale live over there with their 3 kids. She's Parisian, and it just allows you. It'll pop up if you were in an area like a couple of weeks ago. I was down in a hurricane weather, and my friends down in Houston were all able to say that they were safe. Or down in Mexico. Yesterday, those in Paris were able to pop up and just say they're safe. So it will come up on your feed to say, let people know you're safe. It will come up on my feed if you're a friend of mine saying so-and-so is safe. So it's a really wonderful feature of Facebook.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was. And I
Mm-hmm.
saw today a bunch of people changing their
Status,
profile
pictures,
photos with
profiles,
with
yeah.
the French flag.
And I really like the solidarity, too. I also saw a lot of people post pictures of themselves with the Eiffel Tower behind them. Many of us, of course, have traveled to Paris and
Oh, I've been
showing
to
some,
Paris twice. Yeah,
some
I speak French. I took French lessons. I'm not fluent, but I loved the language. And at one time, my fantasy was to go live there. And I still love the language, and I can read it fairly well. But I don't know what the solution is, and then it's like they talk about we have to at least in the U.S. we have to identify the individuals and identify that and identify that. At what point does it actually become a military conflict where bombs are dropped and towns are incinerated? I
well,
just don't know.
I think
Otherwise, it never
that's
stops. It's going to go on forever.
it is. It's not a border war, and that's the challenge. I think getting your head around it is, even leading up to it. Of course, is the drone attack of Jihad John, which was big news, and some said, "Oh, it was a retaliation of that." Well,
Oh, it
certainly
couldn't be. This has been
these
planned
things
for a
are
long
planned
time. That's
forever,
ridiculous.
and of course they've let us know that yesterday wasn't the end. Be ready, and then you're wondering when's the next attack, what city is safe. But because I think, Mark, it's not a border war, it's an insidious war, so I don't think it will ever be, our former president declared a war on terrorism, but of course his declaration of a war on terrorism, don't get me going, really is what started the war on terrorism.
Oh,
um,
absolutely, because as people can say all they want to say about Saddam Hussein and what a monster he was, but he kept that country under control. And our invasion of Iraq and the destruction of their infrastructure, their military, their middle class, we ruined this ancient country. Uh, and it was just fucked up. And it totally opened the door to all of this shit.
It
It was
did.
the biggest mistake, just not just by the United States, but I mean, in history, it's going to go down as like, wow.
I agree. I agree. And it's sad to see him now because he's kind of acquiesced. He's quiet. He's taken a back seat in his life and painting pictures and retired on his ranch or whatever he's done. And it's really sad because it's almost like this guy that did this, and now he's probably got remorse. I'm sure he has remorse. I'm sure at
Well,
heart
and I don't personally dislike the man, and I like his wife. The one I despise is Dick Cheney. I mean, I think
fucker
Dick
behind
Cheney
it all.
was really behind it, in the neocons. But anyways,
Yeah, and I don't see him being remorseful at all. You're right. I
oh
think he's
no, he'll
pure
never
evil.
admit that he's pretty much destroyed the world as we knew it.
Should have had him on his as we knew it. Should have had
You
him on
want to
his
get him on the show?
yes.
I bet he'll come on, or his lesbian daughter.
I'm sorry. Was lesbian daughter? Isn't she, or is it the straight one gearing up for to become governor of Wyoming or some shit? I don't know.
It's a good segue to get the hell out of it, though.
All right, we got some topics today, Mark. I'm going to take it on. The new coming out, I'm calling it. It's very interesting. Like back in the day, which was only about 3 years ago, you would hear stories about who's coming out and so is out, and then it kind of started to proliferate as we went and took our rights to marriage to the high courts. Then people kind of intentionally came out. They weren't being outed, but people started to come out. Hockey players and baseball bat boys and all walks of life, actresses and blah, blah, blah. And now it's just so mainstream. So there's a couple stories that struck of interest to me. One was Johnny Depp talking about gay, and it's okay if you explore a character being gay. You should explore all sides of the character. Of course, he admitted 20 years ago when he was creating the role of Jack in Pirates of the Caribbean that there were actually emails and things going out saying he's making it gay. We need to fire him. We need to. This Captain Jack Sparrow is not gay. And his comments back are, I'm going to explore. Here's the quote. I'm very happy to explore all possibilities of the character and really, dive into the role. They couldn't understand what I was doing, to that point where Disney they wanted to fire me. They didn't understand the character. They were actually contemplating subtitling the film because his little accent was a little gay, if you will. But it's funny. He talks about it as like, hey, what the fuck's the matter? If I want my character to be gay, I'm going to go deeper. It's not just about an actor being gay. It's a character being gay. I just love that idea. It's not like this is a gay written character. And I know you're going to talk about that in a little bit, but if I, as an actor, interpret this to be that way, I'm going to present him that way. The other one is Paul Stanley. You know who that is, Mark?
The Kiss guy.
The Kiss guy. Kiss, when Kiss came out, it was like, I got to admit, I think many of us as young men fantasized about Superman or Robin or something, but there was this allure, I don't know about you, like to Paul Stanley and Kiss, and there was allure to Rod Stewart. Did you ever have that kind of like that bisexual kind of allure? Did that ever appeal to you?
No, I don't know what you mean. I was gay. How could I have a bisexual allure?
Well, like when these certain people would like how do I describe it? These people that were out of the norm, but they didn't really
David Bowie. You totally overlooked David Bowie, who's probably the most strange performer out there many, many, many years ago.
You've said it better than me. By using these examples, I think we can all dial in and relate. And I love it because people still wonder about Paul Stanley. He is 63 years old. He recently told the New Zealand's The Breeze, he said, if I were gay, I'd be proud of whatever I am. As long as you're a good person, sexual orientation, stuff like that is totally irrelevant. He's been in a happy marriage, has children. But to his point, it's like, what the fuck? Does it really matter if I was? I'd be happy to tell you I was. And then the last story I love this week, too, was Vivica Fox on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
Talking about Fiddy.
I loved it. She used to date 50 Cent, of course. His comments came out after the Empire's ratings on Fox started to go down because they had a story about a gay black rapper. And she said,
did he put a hit out on her?
Well, I don't know, but her comment was, first of all, it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's all I'm saying. She went on to say in the show that he's not gay, but she said there was a time he just seems like he's got something that's not quite, explained about him. So anyway, I define that all as the new coming out.
Not only that, but he's bankrupt. He can't afford to have her taken out.
You sure can't.
Don't have any money. Fitty don't have fitty.
50 no got 50 cent.
Speaking of mainstreaming, I think, was that what you were talking about?
Kind of just how it's changed. Were you listening?
My topic, gay streaming the homos. Because I come up with these little things for the post itself to
Yes.
interest people. Gay streaming the homos. I'm going to quote. It's a quote. It's from Ron Niswainer. I don't know if that's how you say it, but he's a writer. He wrote the script for the movie Freeheld about the lesbians. He was at the Los Angeles LGBT Center's Vanguard Awards receiving the award, and he talked. I'm only going to take one quote of his, but he talked about how we need to be careful that we're not mainstreamed basically out of existence, that we're not erased by he wrote this movie, and the studio or the producers really watered it down. He said it was about these two dykes. It's a woman and her she's dying. Julianne Moore, she got cancer, and she wants to leave her pension to her partner, and she has to fight the city to do it, the city of Freehold. But anyways, he wrote them as sort of edgy dyke characters. He uses that word, and I'm going to mention that too. But they totally watered it down. They just like made it really non-offensive, and I've seen it all the time too, especially on television. Cameron and Mitchell. Cam annoys me on Modern Family, but they're totally inoffensive asexual people, and they always do this to us. But anyways, he was warning about not losing our heritage, and he said we must remember and insist that others honor our history and our very specific gay culture. We are the inheritors of a culture that is created from pain and difficulty from being different, and from that difference we created a powerful community that changed the world.
Mm. Mm.
I'm with him. There's the other side is Andrew Sullivan, who's gone silent since he stopped blogging. But he couldn't wait for the end of gay culture, and he would do these posts every now and then, like, the end of gay culture, watch. Because now we can get married, and now we can have little babies and strollers, and someday we'll be just like them, and gay culture won't exist anymore. And I always thought that's really it struck me as very self-loathing on some level, because I value gay culture. I would not be the writer I am. I wouldn't be the person that I am. I would not have learned the lessons that I've learned or have the empathy and compassion that I have without being gay and exposed to what this man is saying, a very specific gay culture. It's great that we can get married. Isn't that nice? But let's not lose who we are and where we came from. It's very, very important. And he did say, and I gave him bonus points for this. He said, we can be, assimilated and mainstreamy and still be fags and dykes. And I just was like, oh my God, thank God he said those words, because we can't say that anymore. We can't say fag because GLAAD will be at the door, pounding at the door, ready, dragging us off to the re-education camps. And I just really thought, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, we've partly done it to ourselves, the community, putting our own restrictions on ourselves and how we want to be identified. But I love it. And he really came out because he was asked to write this movie, and they tore it apart in, as you say, de-gated or whatever. And now it's getting horrible reviews or mediocre reviews. And part of the critics are saying because these characters weren't fleshed out. And you are so damn right about it. I mean, I am as mainstream gets. I work at a very mainstream corporate America company during the day. I sit in an office where currently there's only, 2 gay and lesbians on the floor of 50 people. But the fact is, when I go at night with some of my friends, last night I was out with 2 lesbian friends, and we were joking about when's the first time, pardon me, you masturbated, or, like, the stories are part of your history. And the second piece is, my friends that I was with last night, they are wonderful people, but they also have part of who they are. You can be a fucked up gay person and still, how do I say it? Let me give the example when I was with Charles, who was in recovery and was sober. Just because you're sober doesn't mean you're still not a dick. It doesn't take anything away.
You're just a sober asshole.
Right. And sometimes those character traits, character flaws, whatever you want to call them, add to the story of our lives. I mean, some of the situations I've been in and some of the things I've addressed are because of something that's definable to my being a gay male, if that makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does. And you make perfect sense.
I want to go on to what does make perfect sense, being on the right side of things. Mark, you're right. when you read my little tease. Mark and I get together before the show, kind of plan it out. We spend time for y'all. We
We
really do
do.
care
Totally.
about.
This is. Well, I gotta look at if they're watching us on YouTube. We got a rundown, man.
And I know they
That's
do.
like
We've been getting
pro shit.
we've been getting great comments. We don't want to make this into a potathon where we're asking for subscriptions that way, because we know you want to be with us. But to the point, yes, Mark's absolutely right, as am I. That we do spend
Was
time
I not
on
supposed
looking.
to ask people to subscribe?
No,
Was
I
that
knew. I
tacky?
knew.
Was that like
Why
promoting
laugh?
my gay romance because the terrorist attack in France?
Okay, because now you made it funny, so I think you're over it. But sometimes, folks, I have to endure a conversation after the show when Mark's wondering, should I have said that? What
Yeah.
did you mean
Oh
when you
yeah,
made
yeah.
that
Did
comment?
I piss somebody off? Oh my God, I
Yeah.
said fag. We're doomed.
Because we care.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gone. Back to the point. So my story now is being on the right side of things, unlike what you may have thought in my writing, that it's left versus right. It's really the left moving into the right side of things. Lots of changes. Just a week after Houston had that mean ruling where the people took away the issue regarding same bathrooms, transgender people, Dallas came out loud and clear, as you saw, and the Dallas City Council on Tuesday unanimously updated a city ordinance to explicitly ban discrimination on the basis of gender identity. The quote I love from this one is from Patty Fink of the Dallas Gay and Lesbian Alliance. She said, "In the entire United States, no one has ever been arrested for being transgender in a bathroom because someone was threatened by a transgender person." So things changing in the same state of Texas, we can look at it. Changes happening in Utah. Mark, I know you're going to talk about that in a little bit. You referenced the story earlier today that was unfolding in Utah. Last week, we spent a lot of time talking about the Mormon Church adopting a policy where when you turn 18, if you have same-sex parents, you have to choose to stay a member of the church or leave. But they did elect their first gay governor. That's a woman. I can never say her last name is Biskupski, but she won in a significant by a significant margin, and she is going. One of the first things she's admitted to doing, her name is Jackie, is going to talk to the Mormon Church because it's such a big part of the fabric of that state, and she wants to talk to them about the policy. And she says, it's time that we finally. It's not a governor. I apologize. She's a lesbian,
Yeah,
and
I
she's
didn't
the
think she was a
mayor of
governor.
the city. Yeah, Salt
Mayor.
Lake City.
Salt Lake City, yeah.
Yeah, big thing happening there. Now taking it nationwide. Going to vote is the Equality Act of 2015. White House came out in a statement Tuesday saying it's now clear that the administration strongly supports the Equality Act. It would amend the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to include sexual orientation, gender identity as federally protected categories. So I think it's going to finally happen. We're going to see some equality across the states.
I hope so. Because it's easy to focus on the setbacks like Houston, but it's not the story across the land.
That's true, and we got to make it known.
My second topic has to do with a podcast that I did this week with Lenny Gallo, who's an MSW social worker and worked specifically with incarcerated individuals, and it was about prison rape. And I don't know, I'm sure I've brought this up before at some point, but prison rape is not a joke, and sexual assault behind bars is not a joke. And I just I get really upset when I see prison bitch jokes on television, which I've seen plenty of. Two Broke Girls. If you go back to Will and Grace, which was getting awards for some reason, but there was a prison joke on there, and I'm like, it's not funny. Being assaulted, violent assault is violent assault, and being raped and assaulted is not part of anyone's sentence. So it'll be a short topic. I'm just bringing it up because I already talked it through with Lenny on that podcast. But, I hope our society, and I think we're getting there because we're starting to deal with our prison population, our obscene prison population.
Yes, we are.
We're starting to deal with the fact that people are behind bars for nonviolent crimes, and I think eventually we'll get there too. And also then I'll stop with it, is one of the effects, I think, and I hope, of trans visibility, or the coming to the more of the forefront of transgender reality, is the fact that LGBT prisoners are at a much higher risk of assault and sexual assault in jail and in prison. And trans prisoners are really in a bad situation. There are only 2 facilities in this country that have separate housing for transgender inmates. I think one is
Wow.
in Los Angeles. So they're usually put in with the population of their biological birth.
Hmm.
So, anyways, it's a very serious issue. I'm bringing it up so people will be cognizant of it, take it seriously, and the next time if you're laughing at prison jokes on 2 broke girls, you need to re-examine that.
Mark, where can people hear that podcast? Because it doesn't live on the Twist podcast website.
Oh,
How do
it's
people?
Live Mike with Mark. It's on my You can find it on my personal website, markmcnease.com, which will soon be my primary presence other than the Twist podcast.
I love it. Yeah, no, I definitely want to hear it. I've always been in tune with when HIV was happening. Well, it still is happening. December 1 is just around the corner to remind us of that World AIDS Day. But back in the day when you and I were in the midst of it living in LA, that's how Mark and I met, by the way, for those that were kind enough to subscribe and hear us for the first time today. But back then when we were in the midst of the battle, I really took on the cause of HIV in the prison system and used to organize a lot of events where we always included a speaker such as your guest on your podcast that talked about those issues and how they are different in prison life, much like, being gay in prison. So anyway, it's time for hashtag You're It, Mark.
Oh, yes, the hashtag You're It comes before the final bell. Okay, go ahead.
That's right. And what is the hashtag You're It? Remind folks they can hashtag this. We create a hashtag every week, folks, and you can participate in the social experience of by using the hashtag and sending your comments about this subject. But let everybody know what it is, Mark.
It's yours. It's Cup War.
Yeah, that's right.
Hashtag Cup War.
Cup War. It's a battle of quotes. It's a battle of the interpretation of the red Starbucks cup. Who gave a fuck? I mean, really? Did people really, really care that the cup was anti-Christian or took Christmas out of the whole experience by not including snowflakes and sleighs? I don't understand why the media, one guy's comment where he was upset, some guy that claims that he's a pastor gets upset because they took these little things that signified Christianity off of it, and they took the Merry Christmas out of Christmas. And he goes,
snowflake?
yes. The cup used to have little reindeer and all that. I know, right? It used to have all this stuff on it. They took it off. It's just a beautiful red cup. Starbucks coming back to, the fact that they're taking Christianity out of their coffee service was basically the ombre of the colors were appealing. The designer spoke that way and just said, hey, we just made a choice aesthetically to keep it simple. But this one guy, if you don't know the story I'm talking about, went up to the counter and said, how they ask you what the name is, and he goes, my name is Merry Christmas. And then he posted all over social media that he put the Merry Christmas back in the coffee cup and showed everybody this. But
Of course,
he
wanted some viral shit to make him feel like his life, for 10 seconds, his life has meaning. Because I don't get me started on this viral crap. I had a viral video. It's whatever.
I know. And here we talk about it. And the media purports it, and you can Google search it, and it comes up in all these news feeds. But okay, so to sum it up, battle of 2 amazing people. One is Ellen DeGeneres, who I love and my mom loves, and one is Donald Trump. Here's how Ellen summed it up if you haven't read the quote or seen it on YouTube. She goes, the old cups had snowflakes and Santa's sleigh and elves. All those things you find in the Bible. She says, now they're just red. And I mean, look at this cup. You might as well call it a Satan sipper. I love that quote. Donald Trump's quote about it, of course, is, I have one of the most successful Starbucks in Trump Tower. Maybe we should boycott Starbucks. He says, that's the end of that lease. And then he says, if I become president, we're all going to be saying Merry Christmas again.
Oh, that's a reason to vote for him. He's going down, though, because he started attacking Ben Carson, who's an evangelical sweetheart. So Trump's in trouble.
He's in trouble. Ellen's on the rise. Hashtag Cup War if you want to weigh in on this subject.
Final bell. I'm going to change it because we need a showrunner. You know what a showrunner is.
Oh, yeah, to keep us on track.
Yeah, man, we're at the half hour mark. So my final bell was going to be about just how the more things change, the more they stay the same with the anti-LGBT shit and the ISIS wars. Anyways, my final thought is just going to be to remember Paris. That's my final bell.
I like it, Mark, but keep that topic for the week you're on
If
with it.
anybody's looking for, want us to be a showrunner, we offer hugs and kisses.
We sure do. Well, now
Contact
I
us at
feel,
podcast at the twistpodcast.com.
yeah, you'll love it. We have a virtual green room beforehand where we talk about things. Now, Mark, I'm supposed to end with a quote. You know, we
Yeah,
like to end the
end
show with a
quote.
quote. I'm not sure I should on your comment. I could quickly find one about Paris, but I feel like I'm getting off track. No, I'm going to leave it because I like this quote very much and I want to share it with people. It's from C.S. Lewis, folks. Kind of sums up some of the stuff we talked about today. He says, "We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered to us, like an ignorant child who goes on making mud pies in the slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily pleased." C.S. Lewis.
Excellent. Thank you again for listening to The Twist, America's only clothing optional podcast.